You know what's satisfying to watch? Keanu Reeves putting on a suit and mowing down bad guys. Dude, John Wick Chapter 2 really lives up to the first one. And that's just my first sentence in this review. I watched this movie and I absolutely adored the crap out of it. This was an awesome movie. It started off and John Wick gets his car back. It's not really a spoiler at this point. You know it was going to happen. His car got stolen in the first one, then he goes to get it back. That's what happens. So yeah, the opening sequence is absolutely incredible. I saw this movie in 4DX as well, so that was cool. When the car's like swerving around and he goes through like puddles of water, it all sprays, and that was cool. But anyway, the movie itself was really cool. So it starts off with John Wick getting his car back, and and then from there, someone from his past comes back to tell him that there's a task that he needs to do, and if he doesn't do it, very bad things are going to happen. No spoilers here, but bad things start to happen, and John Wick has to do this thing that he's told to do, and then it sort of leads on to a story of like all of the assassins like or hitmen or whatever just going after John Wick in a full-on bloodbath, and it's satisfying to see Keanu Reeves mow these bad guys down, or at least they're not really bad guys because I think he's the bad guy in this movie. I don't really care. I love seeing Keanu Reeves in high octane action shit. It's awesome. So yeah, like I said before, Keanu Reeves was born for this role. There's going to be a John Wick Chapter 3, and I cannot wait for it because Keanu Reeves brings it to the table every damn time. And you know what I love about this movie more than the first and what advantage it has? No dogs die in this one, so that made me happy. But yeah, I mean, this movie, just from the get-go, it feels like a sequel to John Wick, but then it becomes its own thing after a while, and that's really good, because it starts off and pretty much picks off directly where the last one ended, and you're just like, okay, cool, it's chapter 2, so of course it does. And then you sort of think, is that going to be the whole movie, or is there going to be more to it? And there is more to it, and there really was a story to tell here. But with a John Wick movie, an action movie like this, you don't go in for the story anyway. So sure, there is a story to tell, but it's not a strong story. Like, the plot's not exactly a strong plot. It's just a movie, they have a plot in there because they have to, but it's not a bad thing in this case, because with a movie like Resident Evil 7, like 7, I keep saying 7, it's the final chapter. Resident Evil, the final chapter. With a movie like that, I expressed my hate for it in my last video, but with a movie like that, they have action for the sake of action, and they don't really have a plot, they just have something there to, make sure that there's some reason for it when there's not. But with this one, it's like that in a way because they have its plot, but it's not a strong plot. It's a plot that requires the action to happen. But with this one, they do it so well because it's well choreographed. The stunts are awesome. There was this really cool sequence with Common. We last saw him in Suicide Squad, I believe, but he's in this movie as like a hitman who's after John. And they're like fighting on these stairs, and they're like rolling down the stairs, and like you can see them like full on just like brutally punching each other, and it's like, yeah, this is pretty damn cool, and it's fights like that that make me love movies like this, because we haven't had a really really good action movie for a long time. But I've got to say that John Wick Chapter 2 is my favourite action movie that's come out since Mad Max Fury Road. And, it's just high octane from beginning to end. There are certain moments where the plot will slow down to explain things, or, a sequence of just talking because they can't just have full on action 100% of the time. But it's fine because it never becomes boring, because when it starts to become slow and you start to think, okay, let's pick up the pace a bit, they do. They pick up the pace at the exact time you want them to pick up the pace. And that's what I really love about this movie. You've got Ian McShane returning, and John Leguizamo comes back for a small cameo. But there's new cast members as well. So Ruby Rose is in this movie. She plays like a mute assassin. She's good in the movie. She's not, she doesn't do much, doesn't say much, but she's fine. She has some cool action sequences. Again, Common, he's great in this movie. And I've never seen him do anything like particularly great, but he's very good in this film. You can tell he wants to do this movie. You can tell he cares about this role. So that's good. But, the star of the show is going to be Keanu Reeves, and Keanu just absolutely kills it the entire time. There's some really cheesy lines that he says, but it just works, because if you had someone like, I don't know, Nicolas Cage saying them, then it's going to feel cheesy and it's going to feel, but when Keanu Reeves says them, he just delivers them with such a badassery that you're like, yeah, Keanu Reeves is a badass motherfucker, and he can say these lines all he wants. So, yeah, John Wick Chapter 2, it's brilliant if you want to see a really good action movie. You know, if you just want to sit back, relax, have some fun, this is the movie that's going to do that for you that's out now. With this and the Lego Batman movie out, you can't go wrong, because both are very entertaining and much more entertaining than 50 Shades Darker. So don't give that your money. Splurge all your money on John Wick because he deserves it. So John Wick Chapter 3, this ends on a note that will tie into John Wick Chapter 3, so I can't wait to see what happens. Like, something happens at the end, and it really, like, it sets up the stakes. The stakes are higher for John, and you're just like, yeah, I don't see how he's getting out of this, but I can't wait to see the movie to see how he does get out of this, because he's John Wick, and he's going to. Oh, and we also get him to, like, see you kill a guy with a fucking pencil. That was awesome. You remember the line from the first one? With a fucking pencil. Yeah, you see it full on in this movie, and it's brutal. So, yeah. Let me know what you think of John Wick Chapter 2 if you've seen it, because like everyone needs to go and see this, because it's that movie that it probably won't make too much money. The first one might have made a good budget, but people need to like see this movie, give it money so we can get the next one, because this is one of those action movie franchises that deserves a sequel. And that really, you know, the world building and everything around it, I just feel like they can do that really well with John Wick, because they've already established that it's possible. So please go and see this movie, guys. I want a John Wick Chapter 3. I mean, it's inevitable at this point, but let me know what you think of John Wick Chapter 2. Do you love it? Do you hate it? You probably don't hate it. If you hate it, there's something wrong with you. But let me know what you think anyway, and I'll see you guys very soon.